Alright, so we've got all of our pieces here and we are ready to start putting our vignette together. So I got the flower oasis that I was talking about with the candles that I used a portion of to hold my things in place while they were drying. I've got a piece here that is about 2 inches by about 1.5 inches by about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to put it about 1/3 of the way in. You can choose how you want your piece oriented, if you want it horizontal or vertical, your choice. Neither one is right or wrong, it's just personal preference. So I don't have it glued in quite yet. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to push in where I want one of the candles. And then I'm going to push in where I want the second one. So before I actually glue anything or glue that foam down, I'm going to glue a few of the greenery pieces in so they will go in behind it. And I find the easiest way to do this whole thing is to have everything ready ahead of time so that when it comes time to putting stuff together, you're simply placing and gluing everything into place. Alright, so now I've got some greenery there. I'm going to glue my little piece of oasis into the frame. Like I said, I've got it about 1/3 of the way in. I don't want it necessarily centered. I find things look a little bit better if they are off to the side. Next, I'm going to glue my fake candle in place. And I'm going to choose which side, what part of the wax I want to see. And I'm going to push it into my little piece of oasis. And I'm going to do the same thing with a shorter candle. This one here, I'm not putting in quite as far as the other one. When I got these dowels, they were 12 inches long, so the way they were cut was just to make them even for the dowel pieces, not necessarily for the height that I wanted in here. All right, so I'm just going to push the oasis in, and I'm just going to glue my flowers into place. Now, the one thing that you want to do, you don't want to start in the center and then work your way out. You want to start behind and then work your way forward. So I'm going to glue one down in here. And once you have one done, you can glue the other ones the same as those. This one here, I'm just putting them where I want them. And I'm using a hot glue gun just because it's going to be a lot quicker, because it'll dry really, really quickly. If you want a piece of, I've got little strings for my glue gun. If you want a piece of greenery smaller, just rip it smaller. You don't necessarily have to keep it in, you don't have to use full pieces if you don't want to. I'm trying to put greenery in there while I'm putting the poinsettias because I want my greenery to be in amongst my flowers. I don't necessarily want it just behind and just in front. Let's put one here. And I'm thinking I want a piece of greenery here. So this piece that I just took off, I'm going to little piece of glue here. I need a new glue stick. A little bit of glue, and I'm going to tuck it behind the flower. I'm thinking I want a little piece of greenery in front of here as well. And I also want one behind my candles there. I should move my glue gun so it's closer to me here. Put one more flower in here. right here. So I've got 7 flowers in here just like I did for my sample. I still have 3 flowers left. You could put them in here if you wanted to add them all to your piece, but I'm gonna leave that like that. So now my last step here is I'm gonna take some stickles, and this one here is Glisten. So it's got a little bit of gold in it, but it's also a little bit transparent. It's not gonna be a harsh gold. So I'm just adding a tiny little bit to parts of the edges of the flowers. I'm not putting it on the entire edge of the flowers. I kind of feel like less is more, and I want the sparkle to be there, but I don't necessarily want all of the flowers completely outlined in glitter glue. So Stickles, if you're not familiar with it, is a glitter glue, but the glue kind of shrinks as it dries, so you're not necessarily going to see the glue part of it, you're just going to see the glitter. And this one here being a little bit more transparent, it's going to be more subtle. If you love glue and want it to be more obvious, you could use something like platinum or a different gold Stickles, and it's more opaque than this particular one here. But like I said before, gold isn't necessarily my favorite color in the metallics, so I want it to be fairly subtle. Alright, so I'm going to leave it like that and let that dry. Still have some glue edges, but you can see how the Stickles just add just a touch of sparkle to it. I'll wait for that to dry and then show you it once it's dry. All right, so the Stickles is now completely dried, and you can see it's got some sparkle to it, but it's not too dark. I did take some of the platinum Stickles and put it on this little flower here, just so you could see the difference between the two. Not a huge difference, but this one is a little bit more metallic and this one's a little bit more transparent. There we go. The other thing, if you wanted, you could take some wooden letters and add like Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or something in there. I'm gonna leave it as is because I haven't found something that I would like to put in there, but just something else that you could add in there if you choose.